We are stuck in a bad story. That's the big problem on planet Earth right now. We have an
Oh, hi, Troy.
all-star crowd right now.
And my purpose is to create spaces of belonging and to have people return to their childlike wonder to reimagine everything.
My purpose is to make sure people aren't alone, maybe to make community.
To inspire people into the realm of possibility.
And my purpose is to transform the world through music and arts.
I use a term called story living, completely obliterating and obsoleting any blurry lines between fact and fiction.
The key thing we need to focus on is the nurture of the new forest.
All towards the visions of a global network of these regenerative sanctuaries and living labs and playgrounds of transformation.
It's not dead tree falling.
None of us woke up and chose to be in this world. I think we all woke up and chose to be in this call.
So awesome to be here. My socks are like blown off.
Zach is stewarding a pool around, another world is possible. And it means that, we can all create some sort of commitments and add them to Zachary's pool. And that doesn't have to be money if that's not what we have right now, but it can be whatever goods and services we can offer. And so that's kind of the beginning of it. So I hear there's this huge offering you're providing. I think a lot of people are going to be super excited about that.
Bro, what? This is like my heart and soul, So I love it. I'm so excited to be here. And let's do this fucking thing. Yes.
Because we have the power to create complex systems, damn it. We have the power to tell the story. We have the power to change the world. Quest on. Good call, Michael. Thank you for that. All right. All right, welcome, Ken, future watchers and listeners, to Another World is Possible. We are right on the 10-minute mark, so everyone is here from all over the world, and we are ready to we're ready to proceed. All right, so we're going on a journey today, and we're going on a journey into all of our lives. And I'm going to give you all the roadmap and give away the tools. Last week we had a little kerfuffle with payment systems, and I'm just going to say, screw it. Everybody who shows up to this call right now is going to get access to our system. If you keep on keeping on through this arc, and I'm going to show you how to use it. And I'm going to make y'all. I just texted in the thing, bring a basket and a sword because we're going on an adventure and you're going to leave with gifts. So, without further ado, I want to start this off with our calling. We are called here today because everybody here in the little squares in our boxes is not living up to our full potential. And that's not an insult at all. That's not a dig at anyone. That's just basically saying that humanity is not living up to its potential. Because basically we're outgrowing the stories that shaped us. We are capable of so much more. Everybody here is capable of more. And yet there are elements in our lives that we can reclassify as story material that hold us back from that potential. And in recognizing it and realizing what we are called into this world to do, we can consciously evolve. And so we are basically held up by old stories. And so to invite y'all into the conversation, I'd love to give everybody like 60 seconds maybe, or not everybody, but basically about 6-7 minutes worth of responses to ask really and dearly, what is holding you back? Like, what are the struggles in our lives? What are the stories that are holding us back from reaching our full potential on our way to becoming who we truly are? Not to focus on the problems, but to recognize, all right, where are we right now in our journeys? And that's going to help me understand how to help navigate beyond. Let's hear it. 60 seconds.
I'm an apprentice ancestor, and my struggle is to remember that I'm alive today, and that's all that matters.
A beautiful struggle indeed. So, hello, friends. So,
hello, everyone.
Let's throw it on the clock. 60 seconds. Who's got something that's holding them back? Who's got something in their life that is holding them back from their full potential?
I'll contribute, Zachary. I'm opening my agency to understand and try and provide help and guidance for, this meta crisis is the biggest, most complex beast of all, and that's what's holding me back. It's just the scale of the complexity.
All right. Stories. They're all stories. All these struggles are stories, and they're opportunities for character development. They are quests in waiting that are waiting to be issued to us. So let's hear some more. Let's just a few more. I don't want us to languish in this section, but I really want to meet you guys where you are. I want to know where you are in your lives and help you see that almost literally every problem that we have is a problem of narrative, and that we can reframe these problems into solutions. Diego and Luke, how you doing? What's holding you back in your life? 60 seconds on the clock.
Okay. I would love to offer the what's holding me back. The moment when you are aware you didn't fully step into agency and the power you actually have as a creator, and the slowing down and kind of shrinking yourself down that comes from that, because you intrinsically know that you have an honor toward the whole. And when you then do not honor this honor toward the whole, you're then not living in your full self. So the moment, this moment, to see that in my metacognition and to forgive myself, to reclaim my agency in the meta crisis, is something that I'm stepping into.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean that's really why we're here. We're here to come into our full potential and realize and remember who we are. Ultimately, we are all on a great journey. We are all, here for a reason. And we'll get into that in a second, our purpose. But yeah, really, it starts out by recognizing that we are called to adventure. Every one of us is being called into the adventure of our lives to become who we are meant to be. And all of the successes that we've had are nothing compared to what we are capable of. And all the problems we have are actually obstacles that we can overcome, that are basically thresholds to evolution that connect to humanity's larger issues that are stories unto themselves. Let's get a couple more. Who do we got here? Who's held back in their life? Obviously, there's something that's not quite there yet. If you're going to lengths to turn to magic of storytelling to solve, issues in your life or get somewhere.
I put it in the chat, but I'm going to say it out loud because I think that's some part of what I need to do. I feel like I'm holding this powerful vision, as many of us are, and I am afraid to be seen. So I keep being small, and the vision is so big. So that's what's holding me back.
I used magic technology to make you large for a moment. Amazing. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Denise, and I'm glad that you did that. I wanted to call you out and be like, say it loud. Come on, that's part of it. But yeah, it's about becoming ourselves and like taking up space and going from being a background character, who's got the answers in our notebook, to being the authors of the future, but to being the people, to be the ones we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I've been the background character, doing a lot of the work and holding up people, other people to make the visions happen. And now it's my turn to step into that role. And it scares the shit out of me.
Well, those tensions are the tension between where we are and where we'd like to be. And ultimately, if it wasn't a quest, if there were no obstacles, it wouldn't be a quest. I learned that in Colombia, getting beat up by a gang, and all the setbacks that I've experienced on the world. Like, the adventure of life is not a Disneyland. And if it was, there'd be no opportunities for growth and evolution. If there wasn't anything to improve upon, we wouldn't be able to get to evolution. We wouldn't be able to get to the next place. Simon, go ahead.
I think I met you just. Can you what?
Yeah, right after that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think I met you shortly after that trauma in Colombia. Yeah, so I think what's holding me back and what I see a lot is the the traumas of the world that we're turning away from. The traumas that we faced around money and hierarchy and the way that this current paradigm is organized. Oftentimes the tendency is for the pendulum to swing in completely the opposite direction. And we're not able to learn from the past and take that forwards with us and transcend and include the things that we've learned from the past and bring them forwards with us into the new story. And we really need to be able to integrate the superpowers that we developed in the old system into what we want to build in the new system, without those huge, whilst acknowledging the polarity and the complexity of it all. But yeah, finding that balance to be able to give a big both and.
Wow, I gave you the music. Diego and Luke, I would love to give you more time to share later. I'm going to ask you to bottle this up and bring it out shining in the vision section that we're going to get to later, okay? So, all right, that's time. Basically, yeah, I'm really grateful that y'all stepped up, and there's so many patterns here, and there's so much recognition that, what I notice is almost unanimous, that almost everyone that I know is not living a story that they feel like is truly theirs. They feel like they're a character in someone else's, universe that they didn't necessarily consent to. And so our purpose here, my quest, is to help people find their way out of that. Years and years ago, I absolutely destroyed myself. Suicide attempt, mental hospital, recognition of why I'm really here to help other people. And I was in a graveyard, and I just finished the book, Hero with a Thousand Faces, and I realized this is all a story. And I'm on a great journey. And that the problems that I'm going through are not problems, they're character development. And I'm just kind of stuck in them. And humanity at large is sort of just in that developmental phase where we can move forward. And so my purpose here is to give you the metamyth, which is the structure of the story, even underneath Joseph Campbell's sort of archetypal understanding, to go even deeper than that into what I call the mythogenetic sequence, which is basically the like your genome of stories. There are stories and there are basically meaningful elements of our lives that are either defined by other people or they are not defined at all. And so basically someone else is writing our story and what it means, the meaning of our life. This is ultimately what it's all about. We're in a crisis of meaning. And all of the problems that we're facing today are really solved through making meaning out of them. And so we're really here to remember our quest, our meaning in our lives is beautiful. Every single one of us has a beautiful purpose to be here. And all the things that we've been through were fate if we make them that way. I don't believe in some, hand writing our lives from the outside. We could get into a mystical conversation about that. But ultimately, we make the meaning that our lives have, and we remain stuck in the meaning that other people put in if we don't. So basically, we're here to remember the structure of our stories. I'm not here to help rewrite your stories. Well, I'm here to help you rewrite your stories and take back control of your lives so that you feel like you're the character that's making the life happen. Like it's not something that's happening at you or to you, and you're just either a victim or you're, writing a manifesto about it. Basically, if we don't take charge of our lives and live on purpose in an intentional and systematized process, we are unwittingly victims of circumstance. Our lives are just a mishmash of reactions to reactions to reactions to reactions, even to things like a meta crisis, even to things like these macro systemic transformational shifts. We're not victims of those systems. We're not victims of them. We are the creators of the system. The system is us. The dragon is in us. And so we're here to really remember who we are, that we are the storytelling ape, that we are able to craft stories, basically have a vision of the world that could be, to realize evolutionary potential, and to help ecosystems steward them into forming into their highest state and becoming stewards of nature, becoming stewards of our own lives. So the metamyth, let me break it down for you, because a lot of people, I've been talking about this for weeks and it hasn't really landed yet because I haven't been communicating it right. So the metamyth is a 7-arc structure that every story essentially follows, every good story anyway. You've got your origin story, which is the old you. And basically origin isn't just like, oh, I fell down as a child and became obsessed with bats and whatever. It's literally everything up to this moment right now, where you actually say, I'm choosing to create a new story. And basically from there, you enter into these different arcs. And the first arc is the call to adventure, which is the calling, which is really like, what's blocking us from basically transcending that old story and moving forward in our lives. And it's really like the threshold that blocks us from becoming who we'd like to be or who we want to be. And that's really about taking our problems and our obstacles, as we did in the beginning section of here, and reframing them as stories and basically lies or fictions that we tell ourselves that they have to be this way, and reframing them and restructuring them and connecting our pain to the pain of the world, to the dragons, the larger macro problems that give meaning and purpose to us. That's our first meaning making tools. This is a system for meaning making. And then basically we turn our dragons into that meaning and that purpose that drives us into creating ourselves, which brings us into the quest, which is all about purpose. The purpose of a system is what it does, and to change a system, purpose is the highest leverage point. If you change the purpose of a system, you can change everything. And so changing the purpose of our lives, or remembering the purpose of our lives, that they have a purpose, first of all, that we're not just random accidents of matter bumping into each other. We all have a purpose and we're all here for a reason. Basically allows us to transcend the individual hero, the lone hero's journey, and connect with others on our journey. Like everyone here, you're all on the quest with me. And I'm able to speak that purpose into the world and call people into it. And this is really, there's 4 threads to this. There's purpose, identity, community, and evolution. And each of these arcs works out a different thread to help us to restructure our life as something with continuity, as something that is moving towards something. And basically that quest is the plot line between where we are, warts and all, and where we'd like to be, which is our evolutionary potential. And so basically we are creating a plot line of writing not just what we are doing right now and how we're marketing and communicating it, but how we're actually writing our story into the future, into where we'd like to go. And then crafting our sword and our other methodologies and our artifacts to help us transcend those obstacles and understand who we really are and who our people are and what we're here for, so that we can get into the next arc, which is the vision of what is possible, which is basically like, all right, what if we clear those obstacles and thresholds and we evolve through them? What becomes possible? The magic question, the golden question, the best question of all. And we'll go into a little section in a second where we go into that space. It's a beautiful space where we really ask, who would we have to become to get into the future? You know, and ultimately, what is the transformation at the heart of our gift that we're here to give to the world? And this is really a system that's very powerfully transcendent of marketing and branding and advertising and the sort of forms of storytelling that we've had today. It's beyond therapy. It's beyond personal development. It's transpersonal planetary development of the whole human story together, manifesting out of your life story that ultimately helps us to time travel into the future that we're here to create. And then basically explore that world and world build out of it and understand, what does it smell like and what is the food like and how do people hang and what's the culture like, so that we can attract people into that future with us. And then map the future in the same framework that we used to map our thresholds that are really the things holding us back from the future, and then work our way backward into right now, so that we can craft a mission, which is our next arc, through the journey to say, all right, here's how we get from here to there. And it's a really incredibly powerful way of problem solving, where we're not problem solving, we're meaning making. And we're actually future casting into the world that we'd like to get to, not the one that we feel like we can afford, and calling in the resources and the energy and the people that we need to do it. So just to recap, origin, old story. Calling, what's the old story that no longer serves us anymore, that we're here to evolve beyond? Purpose, or sorry, quest. What is our transcendent purpose, our tribe, our method? How you know, the quest that's going to get us from here to there? Vision, what is possible if we go on this journey together, we find our people, we find the resources? What is possible? First principles, beyond first principles. And then the journey, which is, okay, how do we get there? How do we bring this down to earth in a very grounded, rooted, whole systems framework for crafting an organization, a for-purpose organization, a community of purpose around what we're trying to do, so that we can chart our way from here to there. And we've developed an incredibly beautiful framework that Santiago here and I are working on fine-tuning ever more, so that this is actually a system that you can run a business with, you can run an organization, you can really plot out the future that you're trying to create and work your way toward it and get there. I mean, it's really about figuring out, what am I already rich in? Where are my resources in other people? How do we connect to get there? What is the roadmap, like I'm helping to give you guys for this whole call right now, of how do we get there? And then basically the last arc of the journey, well, not the last, is the request, the return journey, where you return from the mountaintop with your transformation in hand, with the specific magic, the gift that you went through your journey and you suffered through all of that so that you could acquire it and then give it away to humanity as your offering to attract people into the story that's the meta story of your story, which is basically taking your path that you walked, mapping that into an initiation path to bring others along the journey that you went so that they become the new transcendent, transformed identity of the heroes that are required to change the world in the future today. And then you craft that into a hearth, a community space to attract them into, an engagement pathway. You're really figuring out not just how do I blast out a message and get likes and shares, how do I bring people into engagement? How do we start movements? How do we turn ideas into action, into movements that spread, that invites people into the story, into becoming it with us? And then the last arc is the legacy, the story of the story, where we really are questioning our life from the perspective of our ancestors and the people that are going to be telling the story about us 1,000 years in the future or whatever around a fire, if we make it, if we remember this technology. And then taking that whole process, which is really, we'll get into that later. There's AI involved and magic and all that stuff, but we'll get there in a bit. All right, I'm at my 10-minute mark here. So, what would a question for the gang? If you could take back control of your story, if you could go on that journey, that essential archetypal journey, and live it, truly live it, what would become possible? What would your life be different if you were actually the one writing it? And let's same deal. Let's go little 60-second bursts. The question is very powerful. What would you do if you had the power to change the world? Because I'm here to tell you, you do. Change with the world, sorry. Not just change the world. We're changing with the world. Friday, yeah, I didn't get to you before. You said you wanted help. What would be possible if you had help? Sorry to pick on you.
Community wealth and well-being economies would be mainstream. Like, it's really mathematical if I could recruit like 6 to 10 people, but it's mathematical. We've already tested it. It works. Just need like 6 to 10 people because I'm in survival mode over here, and I'm really bad at asking for help. So there you go.
So what would be possible if you had 6 to 10 people and you could storytell your way out of this situation?
They would help me email orgs, go in communities, and you can just literally incept this into the mainstream. You know, we spend, usually in this space, we spend a lot of time with academics siloed off speech. So it's as simple as actually teaching other people in our space how to make what we're doing mainstream accessible. And so it's a couple other people and systematically going into community after community.
We'll keep developing that as we go. David, what you got? What becomes possible if you are in charge of your story?
All right, I better go quick so I don't get ushered off by the music. No.
Yeah, music is a terrorist. I'm really sorry about that. I wish I could.
Oh, it's good. I was kidding. Well, I feel like I am taking charge of my own story, but I'm just getting beat in the head with the whole like other system, you know, in terms of like rent and the monetary system. So I realize in order to change my story or my family story or our story here together, it's not enough to go it alone. Like, we have to actually change underlying structures and create pathways to live the life we want to live. So I'm kind of curious how that works with, it's like the story aspect or metamyth journey, how does it look collectively for us to be able to build these regenerative pathways towards regenerative livelihoods?
Killer question. I'm actually going to answer this myself. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock, so I'll give you my what is possible. What is possible if we start to take back our stories one to all and go through this journey and scale it, because it does scale from individual to organization to bioregion to ultimately a planet. Imagine a planet that is able to actually collectively vision through the use of technology that allows us all to go through our personal journey and connect it to a macro journey, a journey of the whole, and be able to say, all right, this whole human story, we're on a journey. and we're actually in control beyond something as pedantic as voting for somebody to go make decisions for us. What if we could collectively vision and realize what is possible together? What if an organization could do that? It can. I'll show you how in a bit. But yeah, basically, what becomes possible? Damn, 10 minutes. That music is, I'm terrified of it. What becomes possible is that we can actually write our own stories, and that we can take those systems and do exactly what you just said to create our own systems and to live the alternative rather than waiting for the system to fall apart. God damn it. All right, all right, all right. Who's up? Who's up next? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Couple
I
more.
love this part.
So, I mean, ultimately, what I'd like to do is just obliterate the meta crisis, because I think we need to be creators and not problem solvers. And everybody I know who wants to like make the world a better place is focused on a fucking crisis. And I think focusing on the problem and being obsessed by problem, like I was going to say truth. Nobody cares about the truth, right? Nobody wants the truth, but we love stories. And so we need the story, the vision that engages people, so people don't entrench into narratives that aren't useful, and can grab hold of something without being felt wrong for the position they currently have, no matter how misguided we may feel that is.
Real quick, Anthony, 15 seconds. What would be possible if that wasn't a problem?
What would be possible? A whole new world of adventure and fun, magic.
Fucking A. Great answer. Love you. So glad you're here. All right. Oh, no, the music. All right. How do I stop it? Stop it.
I beat the clock and get the music. Boom.
All right, let's go. Let's go. A couple more. Let's go. A couple more. Crystal, what becomes possible if you go on your Metamyth journey?
That's awesome. I was thinking about taking my mic off. Okay. So what becomes possible for me is my childhood wounding story origin is all about not feeling seen, heard, or understood, right? Got that like ADHD-ish mind. And so like my verbiage is like all over the place and not very linear. And so that's caused me to not be able to like speak or feel like people understand me. And then I feel like what would be awesome and possible if I could literally find my voice, which obviously right now it doesn't sound like I'm having a problem with my voice, right? Which is interesting. But,
story problem.
But people claim their voice is back. I claim my voice back, but I also help others claim their voice back. And as soon as we all start speaking and sharing our truths, then we can interconnectedly find each other and click in the tapestries that we are of our entire life. We're all these threads that really go together in this beautiful tapestry of creation. And so it'd be great to weave with those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the end.
Beautifully stated. And I'm going to kind of take over from there because you just nailed it. You're initiated, that you're a plant. Planted you in the audience and was like, yeah, anyway. That was beautifully stated. And if we could interconnectedly understand how our stories fit together, that is ultimately really what we're building here. That's really what we're building toward, is a whole ecosystem to make this process of story living, of living a new story and rewriting our stories and our destinies and interweaving them into a process that is ever more systematized, because this is the oldest technology of all that humans have used to evolve, to get through bad situations and turn them into wonder, to turn fire into water, to fly through the air. All of that it comes from a story. And the story of us, that has been the cultures that have kept indigenous peoples connected to land, in ritual. It isn't through a pure like science. Although my indigenous friends are very scientific, they believe that they practice a cosmic science. They understand the narrative structure of reality itself. And so when we understand that structure, we can literally program reality by basically speaking it into existence. And that starts with understanding what is our story and why are we here and how do we turn these things around. And when we can go through this system that I have taken many people through, and every single one of them has experienced something changing or everything changing, you can reprogram your own life story into actually, Michael Haupt, can you share what became possible when you went through your Metamyth journey? So Michael was one of the first people that I took through this process. and it was just such a joy to do it. It was such a learning experience, and we both grew and learned so much from it. Is he still here?
Well, brilliant. Thank you, Zach, for allowing me to be one of the first to go through it. So I'll briefly explain what has happened rather than what is possible. And remember that what we were doing was before Zachary has refined to the point that he's got to now. So it was at the beginning just a few ideas. And the core thing that came through for me was owning my own story. And part of my story is this thing, and some have touched on the call already, around money. This idea that there's something wrong with the monetary system currently and that we should get off it. But I've held a belief that that's not necessarily true. It's how we use the technology of money. And so through Zachary's process, he got me to own my story. I then committed to writing a book about this stuff. I started on the 1st of September. It's now the 23rd. I'm writing the last chapter tomorrow, 40,000 words. And I can't believe how the messages flow through by unlocking your story, almost by getting out of your own way. So again, kudos to you, Zachary. I know that you're onto something incredible here. I just wish you'd get onto it so that everyone can get a deeper taste of it, maybe an experience of it. But it certainly works. So just for anybody who's on the call, it's a brilliant, brilliant process.
Marvelous. And I love that prompt. Get on with it, because we're literally right on time. We got 40 minutes in. We're gonna get on with it. And we've been working really, really hard on making this accessible to more and more and more and more people, so that I'm not a bottleneck, and so that way more people can enter and experience this, and so that we can take this journey into what it has always been, which is a collective journey, not an individual solo thing. And so we've been very hard at work on many different aspects of this. On one, the application that I'm going to give everybody here, and then the Metamyth transformational journey, which I'm officially launching today, because we've been hard at work on it for literally months, actually out of a whole lifetime. This is like coming back down from the mountain of my own transformational journey of getting out of my own way and realizing that I was an instrument of some much more beautiful symphony than I could ever create alone, and that to carry out my purpose, I need to invite many people into it. I have a gift that I need to give away to as many people as I possibly can. And so we've crafted the Metamyth transformational journey into a collective community event, a 7-week journey for each and every one of you here and many more to take back their stories in 7 weeks. I mean, 7 weeks, we go through the Metamyth journey. Every week we go through a different step of the journey, a different arc. And there's 4 little artifacts that we go through, and we evolve together, and we do it in community, as we were always supposed to. So basically we're devising a program that we're going to be starting ideally October 13th. That's the best date possible. If we can get everybody in the door fast enough. We're looking to take 50 people, and if there's overwhelming demand, maybe we'll expand it. But for now, 50 people through this journey together in 3 different cohorts. That brings us into self-organizing, facilitated story circles that brings us all into the position of teacher and student and guide on this amazing journey to grow and evolve together. So basically, we've been working hard with the team. Crystal here is like our community witch. She's really helped develop this. Nathan has been the tech lead. Ariana has been, my tireless supporter and has been an amazing facilitator of our own community, helping us maintain our own community wealth and health. And a lot of other people and a lot of other hands have touched this. But basically, we have created a system and a program that we're building up now, and finally opening the doors to all of you to be able to go on this journey with us. And so across 7 weeks, we will collectively evolve together. You will get the keys to your own story. You will get the Metamyth application, which I can pull that up now actually and give you all a little demonstration. Metamyth.quest/ and this is all, I'm going to give you all this information. Metamyth.quest/begin. Nathan, can you put this in the chat so everybody has this?
Yep.
Got a little portal to open up your journey, because this is more than an app. And then the password is artifiction, because we're creating artifictions. We're creating I put it in wrong. God dang it. So everybody's going to get this application, which is a beautiful MVP anyway. It's going to be all AI powered and super sleek, and we're going to have an interface and all that eventually. But right now, this is a very functional thing that everybody that we've given it to has seen an incredible benefit from, because it gives it a structure. It gives you a structure to go through all the parts of your journey and question prompts to help you restructure your life story going through each of these arcs. So basically, week one, we go through arc one, the call to adventure. Actually, week one would be the origin story, where we would onboard everybody into a system where we're all going to collectively go through this together. We're going to meet each other. We're going to, depending on the tier that you go through, because we're basically going to meet everybody right where they're at. We've got seekers who are just kind of beginning and discovering their story. We've got change makers who are really like on the threshold. They're ready to go on purpose. They're ready to become who they are. They know something's holding them back and they're ready to change it. And then we've got the world builders who are established leaders and change makers who are ready to connect with others in more of a mastermind with more in-depth service to basically help to scale the stories that they're already in possession of. And so basically we're going to be sorting people into little story circles and teams, fellowships, and highly encouraging people to say, bring your friends and family, so that, you go on this life-changing transformational journey with others, with the ones that you want to evolve with. And basically we create this feedback with each other where we're all learning and growing and going through this together, rather than, going through an app and filling out something on its own, which, can be really helpful. And for a lot of people who are just starting their journey, that's great. But being able to go through this so that we have a structured process that absolutely produces results for every single person that we've taken it through individually, and that we know is going to produce even better results when people go through it as a community. So each of these is intimately mapped out little piece of the journey, a little art of fiction that is a piece that lets you restructure a part of your life story. And then when you come through the whole thing, I mentioned the legacy before, we're like a week away from this being actually functional, so don't try to do it right now, but by the time we get started in October, it'll absolutely be ready, so that you go through this process, you are training your own living story, so that the responses to this piece will basically get programmed into an AI wizard that you then take it as the custom instructions for Claude or for ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, your LLM of choice. And then you can actually talk to your story, and it will help you guide it through it. And it will help you create content. It will help you tell your story. It will help you with your messaging. And so this is the basic roadmap for each of you, which we want everybody to have now, whether you go on this big journey with us or not. The keys are in your hands. The story is yours. And we're inviting people to enter into this process with us. And we've really worked hard. I've agonized over how to make this as inclusive as possible and as robust as possible, so that we can really give you the service that you need to go through a journey like this, and to really hold space for something that is truly a life-changing journey that I want everyone on earth to go through, that I want to get out the impatience and allow people to come in and start evolving. So basically, I would say it's a brain fart, but it was a premonition of a future to come. It was all of you here in this call, after you go through this journey in 7 weeks, and you're just like looking at yourself like, whoa, I was this all along? You mean I had the power? You mean I could have taken up space? You mean I had help? Like, that's what I see. My gift, which has been a curse for much of my life, is that I see people's greatest potential. I see not who we are, but who we could be. And our whole world, which seems like it's in such crisis, it's like really so urgent that we figure this out and understand our place in it. And I see the world that could be. I see such beautiful visions. I could talk for 20 hours about what becomes possible if we all go through and do this. And yet I see in every single one of you here a greater potential than is being lived. I see that in myself and my own potential. Now that I've walked my Metamyth journey and I'm taking other people through it, I need to get others into this new story with me. And so I'm inviting all of you, open arms, into our home, into our space that we're going to be building and developing, which is going to be a real space for community and a real space that gives you enveloping wraparound support, so that you all feel nourished as you go through this journey and as you're able to go through it with others. And basically to train everybody into a very elegant sort of story circle system, where we basically sort of create a decentralized fellowship system where each little community is a self-contained pod that basically we start out the journey. I'll give you all your marching orders. an hour long or so call. We'll lay out the arc for the week and describe each of the elements. And then basically you'll all go off into your groups and you'll work through them throughout the week. And I'm going to be creating a course so that you have guided videos for each arc, and you'll have the application. So there'll be tons of structure. There'll be a full wraparound accountability. You'll have forums for any points where you get stuck. And then for the sort of higher tiers, the people that are more committed, at the end of the week, we will have another sort of session where I'll be able to you'll be able to take your stories to me and to the team to answer your questions directly so that you can really integrate. And then on the weekend, we'll have like a mixer where the groups come together and tell their stories to each other. So really crafting this field of transformation that everybody goes in like a little seed in a garden and interconnects with the root structures of others and grows into their highest form. So I would love to open this up to you guys. And hold on one sec. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm at 10 minutes here. I would love to open up the floor for questions, for concerns, for comments. I want to share the link to our page here. Let's see, we
did share it once.
What'd you say? Oh no, I wanted to basically we've been working on this page for the story, and I got to tell y'all, this is like the decision of like how to price this and how to package it has been one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, because I don't like charging money for things. A lot of people here have talked about the problems with the monetary system and the structure that we're stuck in, and I don't really like that, you know? I don't really like thinking about myself as a businessman. I don't really like charging people money for things that everyone on earth should have for free. But we have costs, you have costs, and we've worked really hard to make this as accessible and affordable as possible, and to create 3 tiers and tracks that really kind of fit everybody. And we're also going to offer people payment plans and contribution credit, so that if the price is really an issue, we're going to work with you. We'll work it out. So really, I'd love to offer this to you. I'd love everyone here to go on this journey with us. And if price is an object, then we can work something out. We're on a big mission here. We're on a quest, all of us. And every one of us has the potential to change the world. And when we come together, holy shit, we have so much more potential. So basically, we priced it at 3 tiers. The first tier, the secret tier, is, well, we got suggested pricing in there, but the sort of baseline is like $1,100. A fucking stimulus check, you know? For the price of a stimulus check in 7 weeks, you can change your life. The mid tier is around 2,100, which, you know, again, flexible pricing, and we'll meet you where you're at, which, you know, lots of research showed like this is like I went lower than the standard for this kind of thing. And then the higher tier for the leaders is suggested 3,300. And basically, because I know a lot of people here are going to want to pay more than that, because the real question is like, what is your story worth? Like, what is your story worth to you? And they want to commit to the mission. So basically every $600 over that baseline amount basically brings in a scholarship, which is going to allow us to bring in more people. So the idea is to get more and more people in and to lower the barrier of entry so that we can allow more people who can't otherwise afford this kind of transformational work to come in. So we're creating this beautiful feedback loop between the graciousness of people committing to their story and committing to our capacity to help humanity through this transformation generally, to help bring in others into the journey. I'm kind of over explaining myself. My beloved is telling me, but yeah, it's just like I love this so much. I'm so excited for all of you to go through this. I'm so excited to give this to everyone. And that's what do you guys think? What are your thoughts, questions, concerns, excitements? What could you do if you had this technology at your hands? Just being honest with y'all, that's fucking nerve-wracking. It's really hard to come up and do stuff like that. It's not intuitive to me. I'm here in this world to give away my gift. So
Zach, as a suggestion, if I may, you may not have time to do it now, but I think when you presenting what the investment is, it's worth you walking through what's on the page, with you explaining the thinking behind it, because it's a really powerful thing you have there. And in my view, you've skimmed over it a little bit too quickly. So we're not 100% sure what the investment.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that very much. Okay, so yeah, I'll walk you through the tiers. So we've got seekers who are kind of starting their journey, discovering themselves, and the seekers are going to get basically access to the forums. They get the top of the week call So they're going to get their marching orders, from the guides. They're going to get help from the facilitators, and they're going to be more in a distributed organizational system where we're going to basically give them the tools. They're going to give them the videos, like to guide themselves through, and kind of decentralize and distribute what they're going to get as they go through the system. And this is really for people who are kind of starting out their journey. They're figuring themselves out. They're working through it. And basically, you're going to get weekly Monday calls. You get the forum access. You get the Metamyth app. You get permanent access to your story and your tools and the application. And you get the content library so that you can go at your own pace. And you're going to get support broadly from the facilitators in a bigger group. And the Changemakers tier, which is kind of the tier for a lot of people who are, they're ready to go serious about their story. They really are committed to the transformation. They want to grow together. They want to find their community. And this is really the core system. And so we're basically going to be curating all the applicants into like 4 to 8 person story circles. So we're going to help sort of fit you with people like you that are at a similar place in their journey that we feel like are going to synergize your story. And you can also we'll have a mixer so that people can say, oh, I love so-and-so. I really want to be in a group with them. We're going to help make sure that you're in your optimal community. And so this group, basically you're going to be going through it as a little community, as your little fellowship of the ring, reinforcing each other, creating accountability. We're going to train you into a very basic and effective system of roles so that everybody is like contributing to your own transformational journeys. So you have a facilitator, you have somebody that's kind of holding the piece in the group and helping coordinate. And then you have an external coordinator that's going to be communicating with our facilitators to make sure that every group has what it needs. And so basically that group is also going to get the app. They're going to get the videos. They're going to get the calls at the top of the week. And at the end of the week, they're going to get a call where we're going to go in deep and answer questions and really help integrate all the pieces that are missing. And then the World Builders tier is we're thinking about it kind of like a mastermind. And this is for people who are already deep in their story. This is for people, who have their shit kind of figured out, and they're working to scale it. They're working to take it to the next level. Maybe they've won at the old game and they need to play a new one. Maybe they are successful, but they're not like planetary scale successful. Like my friend Ryan Tomlinson, I took through the system the other day, and he was like, I'm like, what's your vision, man? And he's like, oh, I just brokered a deal between the Saudis and and Binance. And he's like, I'm doing it. I'm like, no, you're not. That's the start of your journey, dude. What if that's just the beginning? And he was like, totally mind blown. And so it's basically connecting these people who are already deep in their story into sort of a mastermind that's going to get even more sort of intimate sort of connection to me and to my time. I'm going to be able to sort of give you direct review on your metamyths as you go through them, as you go through a more intimate circle of people that are like you. And we're really working to kind of create tiers that help people to go through the journey with others at similar stages of their life as they are. And so you're buying into the access to the sort of community of others like you and into the network. And basically this group, after the end of the journey, I'm going to basically give everybody a one-to-one call to give them a strategy to help integrate their system. This is really for people like who have a brand, they have a company, they're already on purpose, or they have a company that they're looking to bring on purpose. And the other tiers are for people who are looking to start something and make something. They're looking to go from a job they hate to a job they love, or to a life that feels like theirs. Or the seekers, they're looking to figure out, who am I? Why am I here? What's my life about? So that they can really get started in their journey. And we're really working to craft sort of service to meet everybody where they are and create an unforgettable experience for everyone. Thank you for that, Michael. I'm flop sweating here.
That was great. That was great, Zachary.
Take it, Crystal.
And yeah, that was great. And I just kind of wanted to add that, Zachary laid out a beautiful truth of the way that each of these groupings are separated. But we also wanted to mention that they are actually going to come together as well on certain calls where we'll all be together, because we all live in unity, right, on this planet, and we need to figure out how to talk to each other and how to be empathetic for each other's experiences and journeys and how to share with each other. And so we'll also have moments where we come together as a community in a chat forum all together. And so I also wanted to kind of highlight that we'll also be all together, not just separated.
That's right. And every Saturday or Sunday, we're going to have a mixer where all the groups come together and really practice telling their story. Like from each week at each milestone, people will come together and work through their dragon or their sword or their fountain or their vision and really be able to talk it out because a lot of people are not as talkative as I am and need some help communicating it. And so, yeah, we really want to help everybody here, feel like this is accessible to them and that they are held through this process. And that, yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this. And what'd you say, Jess?
Are the videos on YouTube of you walking us through the process?
We will record the videos, yeah, and they will be in the library of the community. And I'm going to record a full course, which I'm already mapping out now to go through every single step so that you have basically like a video guiding you through each step. You have the app that's there to sort of give you the structure and help structure your outputs. And then you have the community that's going to be helping you go through it together. So we're just avalanche of support and accountability to make sure that everybody goes through this. And we believe in this so much that if you feel at the end of this 7 weeks like your life is not substantially changed and you don't have the roadmap and you don't feel like you have the star burning ahead of you, we're going to say, all right, we're going to keep working with you until you do. And you're automatically going to be enrolled into the next cohort, or we're going to figure out what other way we can support you. We really believe in this process. And if you come through the 7 weeks and you're like, I didn't get anything out of this, fuck it. We'll give you your money back. We believe in this. If you're not on this journey, then we don't want you to be on it with us. So, we want everybody to figure their journey out and their story.
So Friday asked if you recorded a few of the previous ones that you went through with Friday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're going to be launching our podcast, like our session, Jess. We're going to be launching our Metamyth podcast very soon. I've been just overwhelmed, like trying to build the thing rather than putting out the message and telling the story. We've taken like over a dozen people through this process on a recorded form and recorded the session. So they're all going to be up there so that people can see it. Like Michael's session, Friday's session, Kevin Howard just went through his. We just took through Economic Space Agency, just took through Regen Network. We've been gathering the most amazing stories we can find and helping them crack the story so that you can really see like this is an incredibly in-depth process. I really appreciate Michael's perspective on this to give his experience because it really is a life-changing process. It really is something that is a true investment in your own future and in your own life and your own story. And I want to continually make this process more and more accessible so that more and more people can see the benefits and understand it. I've traveled back in time from the future to give you a very special offer. Seeing as this is the first ever historic, momentous Metamyth journey, we are offering 25 people Origins pricing, and we're taking out our sword and we're slashing prices and we're slashing them again. So core price, $1,000. If that's too much for you, then we're offering a sliding scale down to 500, basically based on the amount of contribution that you can bring in kind or in time, in volunteership, in being a facilitator, or for every single person you bring into the cohort with you, because this is a community transformational journey, you get 10% off, up to complete free if you bring in 10 people. So happy hunting. So basically the structure of the cohort is going to be like this. I don't want to artificially scarcify what we're doing. We're not going to be like half of you get this call, half of you get ever. Everybody's in both calls. And basically we're having a hero circle of hand-picked adventurers and worthy stories and causes from around the world that I'm hand selecting to be the inner sort of circle that I'm going to be guiding directly through the journey and basically making those the sort of exemplars on the calls. And that's going to be basically application only, 1,500, or I'm choosing you directly. So 2 ways to play the game. I'm coming back from the future that we're here to create, and I'm told all of you made it, and actually your journey created the future. And so offer won't last because 1, the world's on fire and we've got to move fast. 2, we are starting late October, November at the very latest. And basically this is your last opportunity this year. So you have the opportunity to come back home to Christmas dinner, to your hometown, to your family, to all those people who were like, oh yeah, he had so much potential, but he never made it, or yeah, he's doing this thing, to explain them a story that blows them away. To come home as a new character in a new story for the new year, for you to be able to create the change that you need to see in the world. And as I'm from the future and I'm about to go back, you're a big hit there. You're kind of a big deal. All right, love you. Bye. Any other questions? Let's keep them coming. I'm not as anxious right now. I feel that the future that is possible has already happened, and we just have to step into it.
Zach, it may be worth you mentioning what you walk away with at the end of 7 weeks, because it's more than certainly there's an internal shift which you can't measure or describe or anything. But I think there are also some specific takeaways that you can use later on. So in other words, once you've filled in your app, it puts out something, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. When you go through your app, it's going to give you an output of your story in a beautiful form, like I generated for you or wrote for you. You're going to get your story written out as the epic story of your life, which just to read that shit back, so many people have just been like, wow. Like Kevin sent me an email after he got his and was just like, I have one word for you, fulfillment. Just to see your life story actually written out as an epic story is itself, well, like it's such a powerful thing to really see unequivocally that every single one of us is on a great journey, is here on this earth for a really good reason, and that once you have the roadmap for that, once you have the tools, you can create that for yourself and actually see it laid out. And then basically from there, it's also going to generate an output of training an AI custom instruction based off of all your responses that becomes like the DNA of your story and your organization and your essence, that basically becomes an incredibly powerful tool for generating really context-rich responses that, like, when you put something in ChatGPT and you're like trying to get it to say something that you care about, and it comes out like this, printout from a receipt paper. And basically it's training a context window so that you have a really rich context. Like if I ask my Claude Space with my own Metamyth prompt in it, a question like, what is profit? It will give me like the most beautiful response that like sounds like I'm actually saying it. And it's been so immensely helpful for things like crafting emails, things like making decks, things like creating all the materials that you need to otherwise sell your material and do the marketing. And basically the process itself is an integrated brand revolution and a really powerful way of thinking about brand and product and marketing in a way that really uplevels all of these concepts, so that again, it's a real ROI thing. It's like we're really trying to create the bridge to the next economy, not create something that jettisons us out of it so that we can, make believe like we're, in Lord of the Rings. It really is building the tangible bridge from here to there. Any other questions,
In my view,
folks?
you should maybe stress the output a little bit more, because as people start using AI more and more, it's going to be those that can personalize the output from AI in deep and meaningful ways that are going to do much better than those who just use AI as a vanilla flavor. And I've been playing around with the output that you did, which yes, you used AI, but I think you did it all manually at the beginning. Just to confirm, the output is chalk and cheese. It's night and day. You just cannot even fathom that it's exactly the same prompt, where the output is completely different based on the inputs that you feed it. So I would stress that a little bit more in the offering that you're making, because you can use it, as you said, you can create a landing page using, or guided rather, by the output that comes out of this process. So you're essentially building a business based on what comes out at the end of this process.
Absolutely. And like, I would not have physically been able to do all that I have done to create a business, or as I'm calling it, an easiness, because fuck busyness. We don't want to be busier. We want to make life easier, without using these tools and without, creating the prompts and the context window ultimately that has made me able to just very confidently go into my space and say, hey, I need a pitch deck. And it knows my context. It knows my project. It even knows it even knows what I need right now, so that it can craft them very specifically. And a part of the legacy the last week will be teaching you guys how to wield your story. So how to tell the story, how to basically make it so that the outputs of each parts of the metamyth become a little crystallized artifact that basically helps you tell your story in that right structure. So somebody asks you, hey, what's your life? What's your thing? What are you all about? You're like, oh, here's where I come from. Here's what I'm here in the world to solve. Here's my deeper purpose. Here's the vision of what becomes possible if we do it. Here's how we're going to get there. And then here's how you can join the story. And so you have a storytelling framework. That's really where this started, and everything has just evolved on top of that. And then basically, we're going to teach you how to conjure, how to use AI in a way that basically realizes that we are programmers of reality and AI is living language. So once we know how to speak to AI and conjure with it, we are able to program our reality much more powerfully, and also to help people understand sort of what the next steps are, you know, for living this story. Because once you go through this story, you have some very clear outputs. You have a tool and a guide that is literally like your wizard that's going to help guide you through your system, hold you to your highest values, generate all the content that you really need, or at least give you the structure and the formation so that, like I do, I will yap out my ideas and it will structure them so that they are then coherent rather than like now where I'm rambling out of my ass. But yeah, this is a it's a it's an amazing process, and it's really well thought out, and it works. It's a tried and tested methodology that literally every single person who's done it loves it. So I'm kind of running out of steam, and we're at the hour here. We can do some more questions, or we can hang out, and I'd love to actually get y'all's feedback or your ideas. You know, what's up in your stories? We're officially at the hangout section of the call, so either more questions or we can just
I just wanted to add something that I think you've missed a little bit from some of the conversations I've had with you, is that the outcome here is in part is the community that you're building here, and you're placing that community. And so we're people will be going on this quest together. And the outcome of that is that you have a network of people that sharing the same story as you share as you have, and want to support you in your story and have that support network. So I just wanted to reiterate.
Thank you, Simon, for that. Yeah, it's really about the friends we made along the way, right? And about we are onboarding people into the new economy. We are onboarding them into the new narrative and into a new world, really, that very few people know about yet. And so this is really from my heart designed to get people from game A into game B, and to really create a network that, exactly as Crystal said, where we interconnectedly find each other. Once you go through the system, and we're very close to cracking this technically, you will have the option to upload your story, and basically it will start to match you with other people because you have this very rich context window of organizational DNA of who you are and why you're here and what you're looking for and what you have to give. And then it will connect you with other people like you on the same journey so that we can federate our quests together into a more collaborative field. And that's just technically the relationship element and the network and the group of people that we're bringing together here. Everyone here is, you know, super wise and has all this experience and wisdom to contribute. And so going through the journey with other people, you're going to be enriching, you know, what your story is capable of beyond what you could if you're just going through it alone and thinking, oh, here's what I think I am. Because we don't know who we are. We really don't know who we are until we filter it through other people and get it reflected. And then, yeah, at the end of that journey, it's like we're creating a federation, basically. We're creating a federation of stories and storytellers that at the end of that journey, we really want to loop people into a community of purpose around changing the larger narrative and around embodying that new system, that new economy, all through this sort of overarching framework of a new story for humanity. Did that answer your question, Simon?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. But there's one other thing I wanted to say as well, that and I don't know whether you intended to bring this up on this call, maybe the next one, but you know, you were talking about how people can help bring other people onto this journey. So is there an incentive for people to bring other people in?
Yes, absolutely. If you like we said before, we're going to be really flexible with how we price this and how we get people in. Simone just said basically, can you create global South price points for people who are not in the Western Hemisphere? Absolutely. Set up a call. Let's make it work. And then, yeah, if you bring in other people, because we want this to be a community thing, to your previous point, if you bring in other people, like basically for every person you bring in, we're going to give you a discount on your own journey as basically a Groupon kind of thing. So that there's an incentive for you to bring people in, as it lowers the cost for you, and as you and your homies are going to be fucking holding it down with each other, holding the tenets of your system together or your story together. So yeah, we really want this to spread, and the more people you can bring in, the lower your own cost of entry is going to be, and the more benefit we're all going to get anyway, because we're broadening the network. And also, yeah, just a note on contribution. We value other things than money. And if you feel like you have something to give that isn't just a wad of cash, then again, book a call. Let's talk. Let's figure out how we can make this work for you and how we can make it work for us together. We have a huge mission. We need a lot of help. And so, yeah, we're opening, we're turning the paywall into the sell wall so that we can really accept other forms of value and practice the new economy today. Although, yeah, we are. Oh, okay. Christian, what you got, brother? Oh, nice to see you, Christian. Didn't see you sneak in.
Good to see you too, man. I didn't want to cut you off. I just figured I'd put my hand up so that I could get this question in. I'm curious. This is right up my kind of alley in terms of. I like the language, the mythic sort of framing. The mythos is cool. My question is, what's the beyond your personal experience and your own personal journey up and down the mountain, as you mentioned earlier, what are you pulling from in terms of inspiration for the content? Is this Jungian, Campbellian? Do you have any kind of like source material that you're pulling from that was inspiration for the narrative arc or the sort of structure that you're using to develop this personal myth? I'm just curious about that.
Source is immaterial, brother.
If I may say that one of the things I enjoyed the most is that I couldn't put a label on it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Jung is a big influence. Again, like I said at the start of the call, Campbell was a big influence as well, but it's really from my own life and my own journey. I've literally used this as my operating system and my economy for a decade. I've lived on nothing but story, literally, like, basically crowdfunding or crowdsourcing my entire life, traveling across continents, going on adventures, seeing my life as a narrative, turning it into movies. And the source material is, yeah, really the story of the world. And it comes from working with so many amazing stories and storytellers to help them communicate what they're doing in complex ways. That it comes from living in the future. Really, that's where I'm from. I'm from the future, and that's the kind of mythos in our own, world building and our own brand is like Metamyth is a magical artifact that helps you travel through time, and people in the future live in a post-scarcity world where work is an adventure, and their sort of purpose is to go around looking for traumas that are embedded in the old world and unlock transformative potential by opening up quests by finding them. So that's been my kind of childhood steeped in Arthurian lore and video games and fantasy and science fiction, and it comes from us trying to escape reality entirely, and going from disconnecting and disassociation to reassociation with actually creating a new world for ourselves. So yeah, great question, Christian. The answer is like every single person I've ever met in my life is an influence on this. My own journey is an influence, and it's like how a cell functions. A cell basically follows the metamyth, the monomyth, no, but the metamyth, yes, because a cell is born, it is attacked by sort of selection pressure that pushes it into a niche that basically creates morphogenesis, which is evolution, and then a survival strategy, and then a reproduction. And so that's the core structure of the metamyth, and it's the structure of reality, right? We have a story, and then we are we hit the end of that story where that story itself becomes a problem, and then we remember why we're here, and then oh yeah, something beautiful becomes possible. We realize flight is possible. We realize we can soar. We realize that we can have a world that works for all work as an adventure. And then from there, we come back down to earth, with our 10 commandments, and then we relate them to the people and turn them into a mission, and then track others into the story. And that last bit, just a little note, is really missing from almost all marketing, advertising, and storytelling, is inviting people into the story. That the Western canon basically clips off the end of the hero's journey, because it's like the end of the movie is you riding off into sunset with the fucking grail, not bringing the grail back to the villagers and going through the work to communicate it to them and to give it to them. And that's what we're really bringing full circle here. And all of Western civilization is just an incomplete hero's journey, because we have the grail, we have all the technology, we have all this amazing power to transcend scarcity, and yet the lone hero is still guzzling that cup rather than giving it back to humanity. Diego, I think you said some stuff in the chat real quick. I got a couple more questions, and then we will exuent. No?
You said you keep sending people to set up a call with you. How do you do that?
To what?
You gave messaging panel saying set up a call and we'll work with you, etc.
Set up a call. Yeah. The transformation journeys page, you go to the checkout, and at the checkout there's a set up a call thing, or you can go to the questionnaire on the main website, and you can go through the standard questionnaire, because this is just one delivery mechanism of the system in community. If you have a story that more urgently needs to get out now, and you already know your story and you're ready to go see, take it to the next level, we can work one-on-one as well. And that's where this kind of started. And I'm working to spread it to more people. So yeah, really, like the most powerful service is to go in one-on-one, and I'm going to help you go through your story every step of the way and create the system, and crack the brand and the identity and the build the community. And that's what I'm doing with other, mostly brands and organizations in the space now. So yeah.
Just to answer the question, there's a button on that page that says, content. It's like a book one-on-one on that journey page, transformation journey page that you shared, right?
Really? Yeah. Yes. There's a button on there, book a call for us, and that'll get you to a little call link there. And then if you go through the questionnaire, it'll get, you can set up a call through that. Or just email me. My email is Zachary at anotherworld.earth, or hit me up on LinkedIn. That's really where I'm busy. Simone says, if it's a 7-week journey, does that mean you only do intake a few times a year? I'm at full capacity now, but the seed has been planted. Yes, 7 weeks is coming up, and this will be the last cohort of the year. So there is a little bit of urgency and scarcity. And yet we're going to be doing them again, in the new year, in the springtime, probably. And we're going to be doing it a few times a year. So yeah, if you miss the boat now, you're probably not going to, you're definitely not going to be able to do this again until next year. So we really are encouraging people to jump on now and take the ride. But awesome. Simone, we're also going to be rolling out a monthly community and another version of this where basically you'll just get the app and the videos and be able to guide yourself through it on your own time. And we'll just have like an ongoing community where we both build the future that we're here to create, and people can work their way through the system, year-long, evergreen. The goal really, and as we're in a really formative phase, is to build this out into an organization that we're able to give this to people in any different form, from wherever they're at, whatever price point, whatever way they want to get it, with an app especially that gets more and more powerful of delivering the results, for even cheaper. So, all right. Any last questions or comments or concerns or visions of possibility?
I guess I could ask just this question, Zachary. It's not really relevant from my own sort of decision-making perspective because I'm all in on this. This sounds incredible, so thank you.
Fuck yeah.
But are you set up, is this just a personal venture? I'm not just thinking about commercially how you operate, but just how are you running the show? Is this a personal venture? Are you a non-profit?
So right now, great question. Right now we are a public benefit corporation. It is a personal venture. We're working on evolving that. I really want basically a foundation that is run by the community, and I really want to make it a consumer and worker cooperative, so that every purchase and every commitment of labor basically becomes stake, where as you contribute more, as you buy more, you have more of a say in the future of the organization. And then basically Metamyth itself is going to become a for-profit that we want to be owned by the foundation, so that it's forever sort of governed in commons. And that setting all that up is just beyond my capacity right now. So we're keeping it simple as we scale.
Sounds awesome. Thank you.
But it's also worth saying that you've got a few people in the team supporting you. So it's not just you as an individual.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, it is absolutely not just me. Like Nathan, Crystal, Ariana, Simon has been really helpful. There have been so many hands that have come through and touched this. Got to shout out Chris, who was super helpful. We've got probably about a dozen people overall that have contributed in a serious capacity so far. And we're looking to bring in more people. David has been super helpful. He was here earlier. And yeah, we're really working to make this big. We're not looking to make this small time. This is a system that works. People fucking love it. It works. We have a delivery mechanism. We have a business model now. That's such a fucking eureka for me. And we figured out how to do it in an ethical way where no one gets exploited, where no one gets we don't need to destroy the environment. We can create a truly successful, thriving company that's capable of funding an ecosystem and building out, and actually modeling and testing new economic systems and structures on the foundation of a sustainable organization that the sort of community is supporting through these journeys and through the, sort of community, and then creating a more enterprise sort of grade to really fund the whole operation, so that we don't need to fucking be locked in, competing over fucking grants and asking for money, or, depending on venture capital. We're really working on sustainability in a true sense, and then really going into regeneration, where the profits that we bring in are going to be continually regenerated and redistributed into a federation of more and more projects that, especially as this becomes an incubator for amazing ideas and stories, that we get more and more involved in helping people develop those stories into companies, into organizations, into products and services, in the new regenerative economy. I really want this to be the onboarding into a regenerative economic system that doesn't trigger anybody by being like, hey, we're going to change your economy. We're going to change your ideology. We're going to change this. Fuck all that. Here's your story, and here's a system that you can operate it with. Here's a new way of expressing value, that fits with this whole narrative. Here's new ways to govern as a story, where story itself. Oh, that's one more thing I didn't say, is that basically the Metamyth is the evolution of the mission statement. And so our organization is basically going to be run by a story. And so once you have your story and it's all plotted out, here's who we are, here's where we are, here's the people we serve, here's our methodology and our system, here's where we're trying to get to in our vision, here's our current chapter and our goals and our values, you're able to create a very, very thorough literally living, because you can actually talk to it, and eventually we'll be able to bring it into a call like this, and it'll be listening, and it'll be keeping us on track with our purpose and our other values. You'll actually be able to have a mission statement that keeps you accountable, and that basically becomes the governance primitive of an organization, where basically what advances the story is how we make decisions, rather than what I think is good. Alrighty, folks, it's been real. I am in need of a breakfast, so I'm going on an empty stomach here. One more question here. Where's the content stored, and what is the privacy policy on the info we input? Oh, a really good point. We're working on creating a system where you make an account on the app, and right now all the data is just stored locally on your browser. We don't have your data. We're working on privacy policy and all that as we speak. So yeah, the story is yours. You're not going to lose it if you close your browser. It's just saved in the browser. And we're creating a more safe save point system, so that we can make that work better.
Would it be cool or helpful if I give you like a 60-second synopsis of what I took from this?
Please.
Cool. So just because I like to kind of get it, make sure I got it dialed in terms of understanding it. So it's like 7-week cohort to restructure your life story, take you from game A to game B, or from NPC to live player.
There we
It's
go.
five core modules from Origins to Legacy. The deliverables, if you complete, would be an AI written personal myth with guidance on next steps to take, access to the Myth OS, which is the app, the LLM trained on your personal Mythos inputs, and then a community of other live authors running the Myth OS. It's a 3-tier structure: Seeker, Changemaker, World Builder, and it's flexible pricing with scholarships available. And it's primarily inspired by Marlowe's storytelling life experience. Is that all good? Did I miss anything, Core?
That was great. Yeah, great synopsis. I would just add that the AI written synopsis it's not exactly like AI written synopsis. It's an AI synthesis of your words. Basically, you're programming in your meaning into these parts, and the app is actually trained to basically turn it into a beautiful story, like with world building and with themes and symbols. Oh, and one more little note. I love this, that each artifact is its own symbol. And part of programming your full metamyth is in saying, all right, let's create our own symbols. So for me, the action that I take to clear obstacles and choose this reality over a different one is a sword. That's not everybody's mythos. So basically, you go through, and each artifact you're going to reprogram basically with your own symbols, so that beyond just having a logo for your company, you have a whole kit of symbols to represent symbolically all of the different aspects of who you meaningfully are.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's AI synthesis. It's not AI written. It's not AI generated. It's modulated with technology, but it's really like you're the storyteller, you're the author, and it's giving you the tools to do that in an ever more eloquent and beautiful way that weaves together the programmed sort of code of our life story into something that is a beautiful story that we're proud to share with others.
So Michael's asking about the privacy stuff, and since it's something that we're actively worked on, Michael, if you have any suggestions or anything about what you want to see with privacy enhancement,
yeah,
while we're filling out
Michael, I know this is a big thing for you, and I really appreciate that. Why don't we set up why don't we have a jam, and well, let's work on it. I've really got to go in a minute here, but yeah, we really appreciate that. And anybody else who has, like Christian, seems like you dig it. If you guys want to contribute, Nick, if you are interested in helping us set up foundation or whatever, we're really calling in that support. And again, on contribution credit, like if you contribute to the mission, you're getting in, like we're gonna give you credit to reduce the price of entry so that yeah, all of our contributions are legible. They matter. All right, gang, I really got to go. I'm about to collapse, but I just wanted to say thank you all for staying so long. Thank you all for watching. If you weren't here in person, I'm really excited to go on this journey with you, and I'm just continually amazed by just how much people get it and how many people are excited and the fact that every person that comes in makes this vision bigger. Every story that is told makes the larger tapestry wider and deeper and more profound and beautiful. And it really does fill my heart that we have this, we can do it. We can fucking do it. Like the future is ours to write, and we can go from being these fucking, no offense, victims of an old system that never was designed for us in the first place, to becoming the people who are writing the stories that in 100 years from now people will be saying, wow, can you believe they came together and did that? Or rather, what I'd like to get to, can you believe it took them so fucking long to figure it out? All right, without further ado, see y'all later.
Well done, Zachary.
And be well. The quest continues. Onward.
The story begins, or rather continues, because it's always been our story. We just forgot. Our story begins when we choose it. Until we recognize that we have not been free, that we have been the victims of circumstance in other people's stories, we are not truly free to make the choice. Now, we are. For the first time in history, we can see the whole story, and we can see into the future, and we can actually create it. We have the power, you have the pen, to write your own destiny, to write our way out of this incomplete story into the future that we're here to create. That's what the Metamyth is. It's the myth of the future. You're here, we're here to live. So if you've made it this far in the journey, please like, subscribe, share, and check out metamyth.quest. There's all kinds of offerings and journeys that you can embark on there to join us. Our first ever Metamyth journey cohort begins late October of 2025, and it's the last of the year, so get in while you can. We have all kinds of magical journeys and adventures going in our organization, in our group, and we're always looking for adventurers seasoned on the quest to join us and to help us advance our purpose, to change the human story, and to get this technology and this transformational, remembering of our potential to as many people as possible. So another world is possible if we remember, if we come together, if we bring our gifts together into something greater than we could ever do alone. What are you waiting for? Let's do it. The future we dream is one story away, and you can start writing that story right now. I love you. See you on the other side.